Hello Pre-K, it's Miss Swann, and today the story we are going to read is called One Plastic Bag. Isatou, Ceesay, and the Recycling Women of the Gambia. Gambia? I wonder where that is. Let's take a look at a map and see if we can find Gambia. So, we live in the United States of America, which is on the continent of North America, which is right here. But our character in our story today lives in Gambia, which is on the continent of Africa, which is right here. Now that we have more information about where Gambia is, let's get more information about our story today. As I look at the cover of the book, I can see who the author is. Now remember, the author is the person who wrote the words for this story. And the author of this book is Miranda Paul. It also lets us know the illustrator. And the illustrator for this story is Elizabeth Zunan. That is the person who drew the pictures for our story today. Now, as I look at the cover of the book, I also notice that this is Isatou. And I noticed that she's touching a plastic bag here. It's on the ground. That's probably dirty. I wonder why she's touching that plastic bag. Let's read and find out. Isatou walks with her chin frozen. Fat raindrops pelt her bare arms. That means if it's pelting her bare arms, that rain just keeps coming down, hitting her arms repeatedly over and over again. Her face hides in the shadow of a palm leaf basket, and her neck stings with every step. I bet you her neck is stinging because she's carrying this large basket on her head, and she might have been carrying it for a while, and her neck is starting to feel a little sore. Warm scents of burning wood and bubbling peanut stew drift past. Her village is close now. She lifts her nose to catch the smell. Boys and girls, this reminds me of our story from last week, the ugly vegetables. And just like those neighbors were smelling that wonderful aroma from that soup that was being made, Isatou, she smells a wonderful aroma that lets her know that she's close to being home. She's almost to her village. The basket tips. One fruit tumbles, then two, then 10. The basket breaks. Isatou kicks the dirt. Oh no, boys and girls, she was so close to being home, and then her basket broke, and look, all of her fruit fell on the ground. I know she might be a little upset right now. I hope she can fix this problem. Something silky dances past her eyes, softening her anger. Something just went past her face, her eyes, and is distracting her from being upset now. She's not as upset because now she's a little curious to find out what that was. It moves like a flag flapping in the wind and settles under a tamarind tree. Isatou slides the strange fabric through her fingers. I wonder what this could be. It feels very different. Isatou is so curious to find out what it is. And she discovers it can carry things inside. She gathers her fruit in the bag. She's thinking, oh my goodness, this is solving my problem. I broke my basket, but now I can use this bag to carry my fruit. The basket is useless now, which means she can't use it anymore. It can't help her carry her fruit. She drops it knowing it will crumble and mix back in with the dirt. She leaves her basket just on the ground because she knows that this basket that was just on top of her head, it's made out of palm leaves. And boys and girls, that's a type of tree, a palm tree. They used the leaves and created this wonderful basket. But now that it's broken, just like when the leaves fall off the trees, they dry up and they just crumble up and become part of the earth again. That's exactly what will happen with this basket. So she leaves it there. 4 goats greet Isatou as grandmother Mbombe emerges from her kitchen hut. When you emerge from something, that means you're coming out. So her grandmother was coming out from her hut. She was emerging from her hut. Hurry in before the rain soaks your beautiful Mbumba. and Boomba is another word for dress. Isatou scurries in. That means she's running in. She does not want to get wet. And grandmother serves spicy rice and fish. Rain drums on the creaking aluminum roof. Aluminum is a type of metal that they use to build their roof for their hut. I broke your basket, Isatou confesses. When you confess, you're telling someone something. So she probably doesn't feel good that she broke her grandmother's basket. But I found this. Plastic. Grandmother frowns. There's more in the city. Her grandmother does not seem too excited about this new plastic bag that Isatou found to help carry her things. I wonder why. Let's keep reading. Day after day, Isatou watches neighbors tote their things in bright blue or black plastic bags. Children slurp water and wanjo. Wanjo is a yummy drink that they like to drink in Gambia. From tiny holes poked in clear bags. Market trays filled with minties. Minties are these yummy candies down here, wrapped in rainbows of plastic. The colors are beautiful, she thinks. She swings her bag high. The handle breaks. Uh-oh, one paper escapes, then 2, then 10. Not again. Isatou shakes sand off of her papers. Another plastic bag floats by. Problem solved. And she tucks her things inside. The torn bag is useless now. She drops it into the dirt. There's nowhere else to put it. Oh my goodness, she's right. There is nowhere else to put it. Do you guys see any trash cans around? I don't. So she's probably thinking, you know what? Just like this leaf basket that was made out of palm leaves, you know what? The leaves dry up and it's just like a leaf falling from the ground. It becomes part of the earth again. So she's probably thinking, oh, this plastic bag will become part of the earth again as well. What do you guys think? Let's keep reading. Day after day, the bag she dropped is still there. One plastic bag becomes 2, then 10, then 100. Look at all of these plastic bags, boys and girls. This is starting to become a problem. They're not going away. They're not becoming a part of the earth again. Plastic isn't beautiful anymore, she thinks. Her feet step down on a cleaner path, and the thought floats away. Years pass, and Isatou grows into a woman. Isatou has now grown up. She's no longer a child, she's an adult. She barely notices the ugliness growing around her. She doesn't even notice that all of these plastic bags are starting to pile up more and more because so many people are dropping these plastic bags on the ground, and they don't become part of the earth. They don't disintegrate. Can you guys say disintegrate? They do not break down and become a part of the earth again. They just remain those plastic bags. She doesn't notice the ugliness growing around her until the ugliness finds its way to her. Let's see how that happened. Isatou hears a goat crying and hurries towards grandmother's house. Why is it tied up? Where are all the other goats? I do notice this goat is tied up, but boys and girls, at the beginning of our story, I noticed that the goats, they walked around freely. Let's see. Oh, right here, none of those goats were tied up when she was a little girl. I wonder why this goat is tied up now. What's happening? Inside, the butcher is speaking in a low voice. Many goats have been eating these, he says. Oh my goodness. The bags twist around their insides and the animals cannot survive. If the animals cannot survive, they're no longer living. They cannot eat these plastic bags because their body will not digest those plastic bags. Just like the bags don't break down when they're thrown on the ground, they don't break down inside of the bodies of the goats, and then they can't survive. Now 3 of your goats and so many other goats in the village have died. Oh, that is so sad, boys and girls. We don't want that to keep happening. Grandmother Mbombe's powerful shoulders sag. Oh, she's probably feeling so discouraged right now. She does not like hearing about these goats not being able to survive. Isatou must be strong and do something. But what? What can Isatou do to solve this problem for not only her grandmother, but the entire village? Isatou's feet lead her to the old, ugly road. Boys and girls, look at all of these bags. A pile of garbage stands as wide as grandmother's cooking hut. That's a lot of bags. It's as big as her grandmother's hut? My goodness. Mosquitoes swarm near dirty pools of water alongside the pile. If they're swarming, they're just flying around. They're staying close to that pile. Smoke from burning plastic stings her nose. Oof. Her feet back away. Goats scamper past. They forage through the trash for food. These goats, as they're foraging, they're looking through these bags trying to find food. And I'm sure some of them accidentally eat some of that plastic. And that's not good for them, remember? They can't survive eating plastic. Her feet stop. She knows too much to ignore it now. Holding her breath because it doesn't smell good. She plucks one plastic bag from the pile. Then 2. Then 10. Then 100. I wonder what she's gonna do with all these plastic bags. How is she gonna solve this problem? What can we do? Isatou asked her friends. Let's wash them, says Fatim, pulling out Omo soap. Maram grabs a bucket and Incha fetches water from the well. Peggy finds clothespins and they clip the wash bags on the line. So they're washing all the bags and then they're hanging them up on the clothesline to dry. But they still haven't figured out what to do with these bags. As the bags dry, Isatou watches her sister crochet. When you crochet something, you are creating something. Some people can create rugs by using crochet needles. Some people can make blankets. There's so many different things you can make by using the technique of crocheting. Can you teach me? Yes, her sister shows Isatou the stitches, then hands her a metal tool. Isatou's fingers busy themselves. In, out, around. Jerajef, that means thank you. Her sister just taught her how to crochet. I think this is giving Isatou an idea of how to solve the problem with these plastic bags. But plastic? How can she use crocheting with plastic? I'm very curious to find out what happens next. Isatou finds a broomstick and carves her own tool from its wood. So she's creating her own tool, just like the tool her sister had to crochet. She's gonna create her own out of this broomstick. What's that for? Fatim asks. Isatou pauses. She and Peggy have an idea. But will their friends think it's crazy? Will the idea even work? Nervously, she explains the plan. Isatou is not sure if this plan's gonna work. She's nervous. She's not very sure about this plan. Because when you're nervous about something, you don't know. You're not sure. Hopefully her friends will help her with this plan, and I hope it works. One friend agrees to help, then 2, then 5. The women cut bags into strips. Oh, I see them cutting here. And roll into spools of plastic thread. Just like you roll spools of fabric, and this is a spool right here. You see what her sister has? That's a spool of fabric. They're rolling the plastic, so it's a spool of plastic material. Let's see what they do with it. Before long, they teach themselves how to crochet with the plastic thread. Wait a second. So if they're crocheting with this plastic thread, that means they're gonna be making something. I wonder what they are going to make with this plastic thread. Oh, I'm so anxious to find out. Let's keep reading. Nicole Legaby asked Grandmother, which means, how is this work coming along? Ndonka, Ndonka, answers Isatou, which means slowly. Some people in the village laugh at us. Others call us dirty. But I believe what we are doing is good. The women crochet by candlelight away from those who mock them. When people are mocking you, they're making fun of you and what you're doing. And the people in the village are mocking Isatou and her friends because they think this idea is silly. They think it's, ugh, you pick up those nasty plastic bags. Those are so dirty. So the people in the village don't think this is a good idea right now. But that does not stop Isatou and her friends from completing their work. They still keep working. Until morning comes, when they are no longer working in secret. Look at this, boys and girls. Do you see? This is what they made using that plastic material. That is beautiful. Wow. Fingers sore and blistered, Isatou hauls the recycled purses to the city. One person laughs at her. Then 2, then 10. Oh, boys and girls, they're laughing at her because she's made these wonderful recycled purses and they think that is so silly. I hope that didn't hurt Isatou's feelings. But then one woman lays the lassi coins on the table. She chooses a purse and shows it to one friend. Then 2, then 10. Soon everyone wants them. Boys and girls, one person thought this was an awesome idea, and now more people are interested in buying these purses. I think these purses are rather awesome. They made them out of recycled plastic? That is a great idea. Isatou fills her own purse with dalasi. That is another word for money. And look at all the money she's made by selling these purses. She zips it shut and rides home to tell her grandmother she has made enough money to buy a new goat. Oh, I'm sure her grandmother is going to be elated because some of her goats didn't survive because they ate those plastic bags. So Isatou is helping fix that problem. When she passes by the pile of rubbish, rubbish is another word for trash, she smiles. I wonder why she's smiling. Oh, because it's smaller now. It's not that huge pile of trash that we saw earlier. It's a lot smaller now because of her idea. She tells herself, one day it will be gone and my home will be beautiful. She's thinking, I know I'm going to keep making these beautiful purses out of these recycled plastic bags and we won't have this problem with the trash being on the ground anymore. And one day, oh, it was. Look at Isatou's beautiful village. Do you guys see any plastic bags anymore? And look, all the goats are able to survive because they're not eating those plastic bags anymore. They could find their food and not have to worry about mistakenly eating plastic bags. Thank goodness Isatou solved that problem and came up with that wonderful idea. Boys and girls, the title of our story was One Plastic Bag. Isatou, Ceesay, and the Recycling Woman of the Gambia. And again, the author who wrote this story was Miranda Paul, and the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures, was Elizabeth Zunan. Now, boys and girls, at the beginning of the story, we looked at the cover of this book, and we noticed that Isatou was touching these plastic bags, and we were wondering why we saw these plastic bags on the ground. Can you tell me what was the problem with these plastic bags? And what did Isatou do to solve this problem? I cannot wait to hear your answers later on. I will see you guys for our second read of One Plastic Bag. I'll see you soon. Bye.